This lesson is solve radical equation part 3. Here we have an example with two radicals. So we need this one to be by itself and then this one move to the right side. One more time. We need this to be by itself and then this one move to the other side. This is minus, so if I bring it over, it will become positive. Next, because this is a square root, we will square both sides. So square this and square the whole thing. Okay, so one more time, this is a square root. We want to square it. So square, and then on the right side, you want to square the whole thing. Okay, square the whole thing. The square root and the square go away, so I have 4x plus 5. This right here, there are two of them, so write out twice. Write out this twice. 1, 2. Next, we will use distributive property. So this on the left, bring it straight down. So 2 times 2 gives me 4. 2 times this gives me this 2 radical x plus 4. This radical x plus 4 times 2 is over here. And then there are 2 of x plus 4. So here's 1 and here's a second one. So there's 2. Okay, so one more time. 2 times 2 gives me 4. 2 times this is this right here. This times 2 is right here. And then x plus 4, there's another x plus 4. So there's 1, there's 2. So I have x plus 4 squared. Okay. Next, combine like term. So bring the left side straight down. Bring this 4 down. There are 2 of these x plus 4. So 2 plus 2 gives me this 4 square root x plus 4. Over here, the square root and the square cancels out. So all I have left is just x plus 4. Again, the square root and this 2 cancels out. So I have x plus 4. Okay. Moving down. So from here down to here, combine like terms again. So I brought this on the left side straight down. This 4 plus this 4 gives me this 8. I brought this x to the front and this to the back. Again, 4 plus 4 gives me 8. This x over here and this part, I brought it to the back. Okay, and then combine like terms again. So I brought the 8 over here, so subtract. This is a positive, so subtract 8 over, so I get negative 3. This is a positive x, I bring it over here, so 4 subtract 1 gives me 3x. Again, bring the 8 over to the left side, since this is a positive, so subtract 8 over, so 5 subtract 8 gives me negative 3. This is a positive x, I brought it over here, so 4 subtract 1x gives me 3x. Okay. Next, I want to, and then bring this straight down. This part right here, straight down. Next, I want to get rid of this square root, so I'm going to square the whole thing to both sides. Square the whole thing to both sides. Okay, so square this and also square this. Okay, this part, I have 2 of them, 3x minus 3, so write it out twice. So 1, 2. Now 2. So this 2 right here distribute to this 4. This 2 distribute to this square root. So I have 4 square root 4 square, which is here. This square root also has a power 2. Okay, so 4 squared, that's this one. Square root power 2, that's this right here. Okay, next multiply this out. So 3 times x, 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times negative 3, negative 9. Negative 3 times 3x is also negative 9. Negative 3 times negative 3 gives me this positive 9. Okay, so I brought this straight down and then combine like term right here. So 9x squared, negative 9 plus negative 9 gives me negative 18, and then 9 straight down. 4 square is this 16. Square root and this square go away, so I just have x plus 4. Okay, and then next I still have parentheses, so multiply this out. So on the left side I bring it straight down. 16 times x, 16x, 16 times 4 gives me this 64. Combine like term again, bring everything to one side. So this is positive 16. I brought it over, becomes negative 16. So 18, negative 18 plus negative 16 gives me negative 34. One more time, this is a positive 16. Bring it to the left side will become negative 16. So negative 18 plus another negative 16 gives me negative 34. This is a positive 64. I bring it to the left side, becomes negative 64. So 9 subtract 64 gives me negative 55. Okay, so be very careful when you combine like terms and bring on to the other side. Now I have a trinomial. This is A, this is B, this is C. Again, this is a trinomial, A, B, C. So A is 9, B is negative 34, C is 55. I'm going to use these to make the x, so I can factor out the trinomial. So on top, A times C, so 9 times negative 55 is negative 495. The B is negative 34. Again, where did I get this number from? Which is over here, A, B, and C, which is this trinomial. And I'm trying to factor this trinomial. So on top is A times C, so 9 times 55, negative 55 is negative 495, and then B is negative 34. Now here are the lists of numbers, factors that multiply gives me 495. So 1 times 495, 3 times 165, 5 times 99, 9 times 55, 11 times 45. Out of these lists, only 11 and 45 will work. Again, out of this list, only 11 times 45 will work. And here's the reason. 45 times 11 gives me 495. 45 subtract 11 will give me this negative 34. And be careful, negative should be on the 45, positive on the 11. And the reason is negative 45 times 11 gives me negative 495. Negative 45 plus 11 gives me negative 34. So be careful which one will have a negative and which one will have a positive. Okay. Once that's done, now we have to take care of this part. Since A is not 1, we have to divide by 9. Again, A was not 1, so we have to divide by 9. Like one more time, if A is not 1, we have to divide by A, whatever A is. In our case, A is 9, so we divide by 9. So negative 45 divide by 9, 11 divide by 9. If you could reduce, reduce. If you cannot reduce, leave it alone. So this can be reduced, so it becomes negative 5. This cannot be reduced, so we leave it as 11 over 9. After that, make sure you opposite of it. So instead of negative 5, become positive 5. 11 over 9 becomes negative 11 over 9. So this is our solutions. Now we have to check to make sure that the solution work. Okay, this is our solution, but we have to check that this is true or false. So we will use 5 and 11, 9, go all the way back to the beginning of the problem. So here's the beginning of the problem. Wherever there's an x, you plug the value in. Okay, so again, this is the original problem. Go back and plug in x, and then find is it false or true. So let's put 5 in first. So here's 5. This right here was an x. This right here was also an x. So 4 times 5 gives me 25. 4 times 5 gives me 20, plus 5 gives me 25. One more time, 4 times 5 is 20. 20 plus 5 gives me 25. 5 plus 4 gives me 9. Now square root 25 is 5, square root 9 is 3. 5 subtract 3 gives me 2. 2 does equal to 2, so 5 is true. Okay, so 5 is true. Now on this side right here where I have for negative 11x, same thing. This is my x, this is also my x. Okay, so plug that in. So 4 times negative 11 gives me negative 44 over 9 plus 5. And over here it's just as is, there's nothing to do about it. So here, this part right here is combined, is adding and subtracting fractions, so I have it up here. So this part right here where I'm circling, I show the work up here. So cross multiply, that gives me negative 44, and then 9 times 5 gives me 45. Under multiply, 9 times 1 gives me 9. 45 subtract 44 gives me 1 over 9. So this part right here where I'm circling is 1 over 9. And the work is right here. Same thing over here, 11 9 plus 4. Here's the work. 11 times 1 gives me that negative 11. And then 9 times 4 gives me this 36. Under multiply, 9 times 1 is 9. Add and subtract the top, that gives me 25 over 9. So this part right here where I'm circling is 25 over 9. And this is the work up here. Okay? Next, we want to square root. So square root 1 is 1, square root 9 is 3, square root 25 is 5, square root 9 is also 3. Let's add and subtract. Since the denominator already the same, add the top or subtract the top. So 1 subtract 5 gives me negative 4. Negative 4 over 3 is not 2. Negative 4 over 3 cannot equal to 2, so this is false. So out of two answers, positive 5 and negative 11 over 9, only 5 is true. The 11 negative 9 is false, so we throw this away. So the only answer is x equal 5 is the true solutions. Okay, so be very careful when I have something like this as my examples, and make sure, since I have two radicals, make sure the left should be along first, the left should be by itself first, and then this right one, this one right here, bring it to the right side. Okay, so very, very careful, and also make sure, check your answer, which one is true or false.